At a time when the nation's eyes are on Arizona and its immigration laws, two sheriffs from Arizona are taking very different positions on the controversy. Sheriff Joe Arpaio prides himself on being brutally tough on crime and tough on prisoners, and he considers illegal immigrants to be lawbreakers. Former Sheriff Richard Mack says the Constitution makes this issue far less black and white. Gentlemen, welcome here. Welcome to Freedom Watch. Sheriff Mack, to you first. Should the government be able to stop people on the streets and ask them for an ID and ask them for their papers and require them to prove their citizenship or lawful status?
Well, Judge, as you know, I have always adhered to the Constitution. My entire life is dedicated to that. And we've done it for a long time. There's roadblocks that do that as a matter of routine. Sheriff's offices, police agencies across this country conduct random roadblocks or administrative checkpoints, and I've been against that for years and years and years. It's wrong. It strikes of Nazi Germany when they said, oh, we're just checking your papers. I'm against that. Certainly Arizona, according to my beliefs, as you know, too, filing a case against the Supreme Court and winning on state sovereignty issues, the state of Arizona has a right to protect its citizens from illegal immigration. However, I will never, never, never support any law that violates the Constitution, and it appears that this law does that.
Sheriff Joe, do you dispatch your deputies to stop whoever they think is an illegal alien and ask that person for their papers?
Only pursuant to our duties when we stop people, whether it's traffic violations or other crimes, then we ask. I'm surprised. I have a lot of respect for the former sheriff. We're friends, and we have to believe in our Constitution. But when laws are passed, those laws should be enforced, and that's what I do.
How do you decide who to ask if they're an illegal alien? Now, look at my face. Suppose I fell asleep in the sun and didn't shave for 2 days and went through a stop sign in Phoenix, Arizona. Would your guys stop me and, after stopping me for going through the stop sign, ask me to prove that I'm a citizen?
Well, you know, if you have no ID, a lot of things kick in. If you don't, I'm not going to just say if you don't speak English, but it depends. If you're hiding in the back seat, you have no ID, we suspect that possibly you're here illegally, we're going to ask. We have the right to ask people different questions. Where were you born? And so on. So I don't know why everybody's all excited about this.
Sheriff Mack,
40,000.
Sheriff Mack, can anybody tell an illegal alien just by looking at them?
Well, no, and hopefully it doesn't have that kind of permission to law enforcement. And there is, you know, and Joe's right. You know, I really respect a lot of things he's done, but the Constitution has to be first. And I'm going to tell Sheriff Arpaio and every sheriff in this country, we are to never blindly enforce all laws that the legislature throws at us. If it violates the Constitution, I'm not going to enforce it. And we do have a moral responsibility to look at the Constitution or the constitutionality of every law that the legislature puts out. And this may have been a knee-jerk reaction in response to the ineptness of our own federal government to address this problem. This is their problem.
Sheriff Joe, if you think a law is unconstitutional, will you refrain from enforcing it, or will you enforce it anyway?
Well, I don't know. The Justice Department's been investigating me for 1.5 years just because I'm doing my job.
That's because you're
and nothing's happened yet. You know, let me tell you, I don't know about character. All this has to do with politics. The Mexican government is doing nothing. I was a director there for 4 years in Mexico City. It's all politics. But as far as I'm concerned, and Richard knows, I took an oath of office to enforce all the laws, Richard, and I'm doing it.
Sheriff,
so if they don't like the laws, change it.
Sheriff Mack, if we made possession of small amounts of marijuana in the home legal, would that stop the flow of immigrants coming from Mexico into Arizona?
Well, I think it would a little bit, but I think what really brings people here are all the government entitlements. And you know, we give all these freebies, driver's licenses and social security numbers and free health care and free education and jobs to illegal aliens. We have got to address that issue, and this is where Arizona made a huge mistake. It did not address getting rid of all the freebies that lure these people to our country in the first place.
Sheriff Joe,
we've got to stop that.
Are the illegals here because they're hardworking people who want to make a life for themselves, or are they here because of the freebies?
Well, for many different reasons. About 19% of the people in my jails out of 10,000, listen to this, 55 charged with murder, 19% are here for other crimes. So you know, when they do come here, they do commit other crimes that we enforce.
Suppose we got rid of the war on drugs, Sheriff Joe. Suppose we decided that people should be able to put into their bodies whatever they want. Wouldn't that make your job at the border a lot easier?
Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't be talking to you if you were high on coke, Judge. I don't think I would. The point is that Mexico has just legalized the use of drugs, yet they blame us for all the havoc going on at the border. So they legalize drugs. The use of drugs is the best kept secret in the country. Nobody will talk about it. So my opinion is to enforce all the laws, if they're on the books, small and big. And once again, I'm going to say to Richard, I took an oath of office. He took an oath of office to enforce all the laws.
And Sheriff Joe, Sheriff Richard, thank you. You both also took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, and that's the supreme law of the land. Thanks for joining us. When a judge says no, and the White House says no way, the battle lines are drawn for our freedom fighters, led today by Barry Goldwater Jr. on Freedom Watch next.